The woman was shocked on the first day of work. Tons of banknotes in the workshop were thrown into the shredder. 2,000 disappeared in 1 second, and 10,000 disappeared in the next second. This is the Commonwealth Bank, where tens of millions of old banknotes are destroyed every day, but Susan, a cleaner, discovered a loophole and stole hundreds of millions of dollars from it. The cleverness of the technique is astonishing. As soon as she came to work, her boss warned him not to think about it. The place is equipped with top-level security, from utility rooms, restaurants, elevators, and 360-degree monitoring of the city without dead ends. Everyone has their designated range of activities, so money stealing is a wishful thinking. When Susan was shopping in the supermarket, she saw a lock. This lock looked exactly like the one on the banknote printing cart, except that the lock cylinder in the bank was specially customized. There were also only 3 keys, one in the vault, the second on the Treasury Department agent, and the third in the smash room. If you can change the lock secretly and change the money back without anyone noticing after stealing it, no one will find out. Susan began to study the monitoring position of the bank, recording the transportation route of the banknotes. This investigation made her discover the loophole. When the banknotes arrived at the elevator entrance, the trash can outside was a blind spot for monitoring, and the banknote transport truck could just block the view, and this trash can was just cleaned by Susan. A perfect plan was in place, but she still needed a few helpers. When she got off work, she found Alice, who was in the destroyed workshop, and she didn't avoid suspicion, so she told her plan straight to the point. She is timid and afraid of getting into trouble. Unwilling to give up, Susan secretly followed Alice back home. He found that Alice was a single mother raising 2 young children by herself. Although life was very difficult, she paid special attention to children's education. That's right, Alice's breakthrough point was the child. The next day, Susan stuffed a lot of leaflets from top prestigious schools into Alice's cabinet. After seeing it, Alice was tempted. At noon that day, she found Susan and agreed to join the group. After some observation, they finally locked on the rock girl Mary. The two asked Mary out and shared their plan. Unexpectedly, Mary was not a coward, so she agreed without saying a word. The reason is very simple. She likes money. The 3 hit it off. The next day was time to start to work. The first step was Mary, who secretly changed the lock of the armored vehicle while she was cleaning, and then told Mary the serial number of the armored vehicle. Look at her upper body as if she was dancing, but look at her hands. She is stealing money from the bank. Next, cleaner Susan put the garbage bag into the car. After work, the 3 women came to the toilet, hid all the money in stacks, stuffed their skirts and blouses, and went home smoothly after passing the security check as if nothing had happened. The replaced lock had already been replaced by Alice when she smashed the money. In this way, they stole $300,000 US in their first action. These were old banknotes that should be destroyed and cannot be tracked. If they continue to do this, they will become a multi-millionaire in less than half a year. At this moment, Susan's husband came in. He was shocked. He had never seen so much money in his life. Susan had to tell him the plan of stealing money. In the beginning, the husband was still timid and afraid of being found, but he tasted the sweetness of success and did not resist the temptation. In the following time, the 3 people cooperated seamlessly, and a lot of money flowed into their pockets like water. In only half a year, they had already made millions. On that day, they booked another action, but when Susan threw the key to Alice, she threw it into the sink. That was doomed. Without this key, Alice could not open the locked cash truck, and the plan would certainly be revealed. Now, only Mary had a spare key, but the bank management was strict. Everyone's activity area and time were limited. Alice had no time, so they must go to the post to destroy the banknotes first. Susan immediately contacted Mary and asked her to send the spare key. It took at least 15 minutes. Alice had to slow down the destruction of old banknotes and try to delay, but even so, the last handful of money was destroyed. Next, she must open the cash truck with the lock changed, but the key has not yet been obtained. Came to the elevator, pretends to be angry, and threw the gum into the elevator, where the key is hidden. When the elevator arrived at Susan's floor, she just took it down. It was perfect cooperation. At the last moment, the key was handed over to Alice smoothly. The 3 thought it was perfect, but Jordan, the security guard, saw it all. After work, Jordan found Alice, exposed her on the spot, and told her to stop. Alice was extremely panicky and anxious. She talked with her sisters about countermeasures at night, and they analyzed it. Jordan didn't report them when he found out, but only gave a warning. Combined with his usual performance, it was true that he liked Alice, so it was much simpler. The next day, Alice dressed up meticulously. She found Jordan, and in a few words persuaded him to join them smoothly. With the participation of the security guy, the plan of several people to steal money was more smooth. In 3 years, they stole hundreds of millions of dollars. Until that day, when Susan was having a party at home, she suddenly found a sneaky man staring at him all the time, and suddenly she had a foreboding in her heart. Unexpectedly, the next day when she went to work, Susan saw the man again. He turned out to be an investigator of the bank. He had been monitoring Susan for several months and was investigating their source of income. Susan called everyone together to discuss. They were careful when spending money. Why were they found out? It turned out that Mary's boyfriend privately conducted a large amount of securities trading, which attracted the attention of the police, and the mountain of cash in the house must be destroyed immediately. They could only burn it in the stove, chop it up, throw it into the sewer and wash it away. They even laid traps in the RV and squeezed it out. But Susan didn't want to give away the money she had worked hard to get, so she took a sum of money secretly and escaped over the wall when no one was looking. The police who were crouching around noticed something was wrong and immediately rushed into the house and arrested several people one by one. Although they arrived at the police station, they had already made a statement, and they did not admit to stealing money from the bank. On the other side, Susan found the best local lawyer and poured out a lot of money. The lawyer looked at the money and took the case on the spot. It came to the police station and insisted that the police had no evidence to arrest. In order to substantiate the charges of several people, the police called the bank president. But the president understood that if he admitted that they had stolen money under his eyes for 3 years without being found, he would lose his job. To protect himself, the president could only deny it. The police couldn't convict them without evidence. However, at this moment, the staff of the Internal Revenue Service suddenly jumped out and confiscated all their cash not paying taxes. In this way, the theft team left the police station without money, but fortunately, there was no need to go to prison. 8 months later, the three sisters reunited again. They all had new jobs. Their turbulent experience also strengthened their relationship. At this time, Susan suddenly asked a question.
Hey, wait, do you ever hear that expression, mad money? My mother used to say every woman should keep a little mad money tucked away just in case.
What they heard made them confused. Later, Susan took them to the basement of the bar. The big garbage bags were full of money, and the wine buckets were full of money, too. It turned out that Susan knew that they would be noticed by the police, and she had already bought this bar and hidden some of the stolen money there. After all, no one knew how much they had stolen, and the real smart days began.